handful of you were asking on my last video for gameplay with commentary to show off how I use the tips and tricks I showed off in practice. I recorded a game where we made it to the final round, but unfortunately we did not win. Despite this, I feel like my gameplay was representative of the tips and tricks I showed off. First though, I would like to show an honorable mention to this lovely light that I had in my first match trying to record for this video.
Yeah, bro, this shit finna be I'm not finna. No, y'all got it, bro. No.
Well, he wasn't wrong. We certainly did have that. Good thing that we won this match and didn't get knocked out because we are better players. We will always win the 2v3.
Well, folks, the shock and awe are the team to beat.
Starting off this match, I noticed that we don't have a light, so I am bash hopping to try to beat the enemy team to the vault. Here I make the decision that I want to commit to chasing this medium. It leaves my team in a 2v2, which I'm confident that they will be able to fight. Although I did get myself a little out of position here, I did end up securing this kill. And now the first thought going through my head is I have to go for that res to turn it into a 3v2 in our favor. I demat the ceiling, I don't see the mine, and I end up getting traded out. And my teammate I rezzed did end up getting traded as well. Our third teammate got the defib off, and we were able to reset from that. Here, after rezzing our teammate, I bashed into the jump pad to catch up to our teammate carrying the box. After depositing the vault, I go to knock over the cash out so that way when someone goes to steal, they won't be able to use the cash out as cover. It's usually good practice to knock it over, however some people prefer not to just because they have specific strats with dropping nukes or mines or whatever they're using. You can see that we get dematted down by the enemy pink medium here, and then I commit to chasing him. My teammate was with me, so he was able to secure the kill after I started getting pressure and was forced into blocking. Right here, I'm counting that heavy's chaos shots, so I know when I'm safe to throw a goo grenade. Here I end up making an overly risky play, just jumping in for the defib without any information on where the enemy team is. Normally this would get me punished and killed and traded out, but thankfully they weren't paying attention. And anytime I'm trying to maneuver around, I'm almost always using bash jumps just because it's ever so slightly faster, and those few seconds can make a massive difference. And here, since I'm on incredibly low health, I'm just doing my best to stall and stay alive. I notice he starts stealing, so my first instinct is immediately to go for the bash and just stall it. I'm just constantly trying to apply pressure and keep him off of the cash out. I notice my teammate is near, so I'm confident diving the heavy to try to secure the kill, just because of how my teammate drew the aggro there. Now my only job in this moment is just to stay alive and try to secure res if I can. Although a res isn't very possible in this moment. I see the steal happening, I go for a bash. And unfortunately, I should have turned around there, and I get wiped. However, I stalled just enough time for us to secure the first cash out. On the next vault, I follow my teammates on the zipline. It's always a good practice to hold block whenever you're in midair or on a zipline. The move speed penalty only applies to grounded movement. I did see the enemy medium go for a res in here by following the statue, so I'm just going to commit to buying as much time as I can. However, as you'll see, I did get a little bit too greedy. I almost died there and got traded out. However, I did manage to secure 1 kill. Again, bashing into the jump pad to try to close as much distance as I can, and I help my teammates secure that kill. Since we don't have a light on the team, I'm constantly just throwing the box and bash jumping just to get the box to the cash out as quickly as I can. In this next fight, I'm just playing with pressure, just using gas cans to deny some space. I noticed they start to steal, so I get ready to try to deny that any future steals with gas. I did throw the gas can a little bit too far, but it still ends up denying a decent bit of space there. I go in to try to help support my teammate just by shielding for him and trying to block damage. I end up eating a mine there that I didn't see. I end up dropping this medium down to just force him into a kill. Again, going for the bash immediately to knock down the heavy off of the steel. And we ended up securing the wipe off of that. One thing to note about the shield bash, even though it does follow your crosshair just like regular melee swings, the hitbox of the bash is actually on the shield itself. So it hits slightly to the left of you and doesn't hit at all on your right side. And with 10 seconds left, the first round is secured.
First place fuels the jet setters as they continue their journey into the next round. And now, obstacle removed.
Heading into the second round, because they made it to the vault first, I decided to drop it down, just so we have a position advantage over it. Again, just like last round, because we don't have a light, I'm making sure to bash out my way with the box to the cash out to get there faster. You can see here I did goof up and I ended up dematting next to the cash out instead of dropping the cash out down. So I ended up wasting a bit of time, which did unfortunately end with us losing this fight. I tried to shield for my teammate here, but because I was too late, I ended up having to goo and defib instead. I reshape a chair into a gas can just to try to get them off of the angle they're shooting at us from on that balcony. Here I'm trying to provide some pressure just by existing next to the doorway. I do end up bashing someone down, and I take advantage of that split just to push this medium and help my team secure pressure. Unfortunately, one of my teammates ends up dying, but I do end up getting the trade on him. I end up falling down, and my teammate does end up dying, unfortunately, though. I demat my way up to try to secure a res, but unfortunately, I did not see that enemy there, and I do get wiped there. We do end up securing the next cash out without much issues, and the first thought going through my head is I'm going to use all these television screens and reshape them into cans just to help defend the box. I mostly end up getting glitch cans, but these can be very useful against mediums as you can shut down their defib with it. Here I make the decision I'm just gonna sit here and play time. If anyone tries to go for a steal, I can just jump out and bash them off. First I go to reshape the cans that are there. The area that I'm using for cover does end up falling through the floor after the floor gets broken, so I end up going for this defib. We end up securing a kill there, another kill on the box. I reshape this turret. I see the last guy there being ready to go for a res, so I end up chasing him and my teammate ends up securing the kill. With that wipe, we have secured this cash out. On to the next vault, we end up unintentionally third-partying here. I end up getting 2 kills, 1 on each team, until I ended up getting traded out by an enemy on pink. One of my teammates is going to go for a defib, however he is going to get pressured back. We are able to grab my statue and get a defib off though, thankfully. Again, I start piling up arena carryables just to reshape them into useful objects. I'm playing in this little goo alcove that I've created just so I can demat through the stairs if I need to help my team. I end up getting detected here. I go run out of my cover just so I'm not visible in my cover. I end up chasing this kill. I do end up tripping a mine here by accident. And then I end up reshaping this mine just because I know I'm going to run onto that. I reshape that gateway just so whoever used it doesn't have the ability to get back through it. I end up hearing enemies on the stairs, so I start pinging for my team. I end up grabbing this gas can just to prep it to stall the cash out if they try to go for a steal. And then I decide, yeah, I'm gonna go help my team, because that's what a good teammate should do. I defib my ally, I end up reshaping that healing emitter, and we end up securing the kill together. And with that, round 2 is secured.
Well, folks, the Jet Setters are the team to beat as we soar into the final round. Letting the pressure get to you is the...
Heading to round 3, the enemy team does get the vault spawn. So me and my team decide we're gonna gamble and head to A. And it took me embarrassingly long to realize they are not going A. They're going B. Jumping ahead, I decided to try to go for a flank, which I extremely miscalculated, and I instantly explode. Thankfully, my teammate is here to get the defib. At this point, I'm just trying to hold space and stay alive for my team, although I do get flanked, and I do not get much value off of that. I end up gooing to try to get for a res. I do end up getting the defib off on one of them. I end up playing inside this side room just to give myself enough cover when I need to. I had tried to climb up to get the res, however I noticed that my teammate was already on it. I end up stalling the steal, and we end up getting a team wipe off of that. At this point, I'm waiting for my dematerializer charges to come back so we can drop a cash out. I start a steal to force reaction out of them, however with a teammate down we are not able to win this fight. I end up trying to go for a defib, but the enemy medium makes a very smart play here using the pyro to flush me out of there. And he ends up securing a team wipe on us. And unfortunately this leaves us without enough time to secure another fight for the cash out. So all that's left is to fight for the next vault. Here you'll notice that if you time your jump well enough, you can actually chain your shield bash and keep the momentum in order to land another hit after your bash lands. Unfortunately, I do get a little bit too greedy here. I end up dying and I'm forced into using a coin. On my way back, I bash into the jump pad just to get through faster. I demount the ceiling so I don't bump my head, and then I secure a defib right there. I see the turret, so I go for a reshape. Trying to shield for my teammates so they don't take any more stray bullets. And here I'm actually shielding for the turret, as the turret can shoot through the shield. I was originally going for the defib there, however, because they were starting to steal, I made the brash decision of jumping down to demount it down, which ended up getting me surrounded, and I did end up getting wiped there. I end up trying to ask my team to stop splitting, although that was partially on me as well. I should be sticking with my team no matter where they're going. As a general rule of thumb, 2 teammates in a bad position is better than 1 teammate in a bad position and 1 teammate very far away from them. Without a lot of time left, I end up throwing myself at the cash out, hoping to last minute steal. However, because with that gas grenade, I was not able to stick a steal, and that's going to be the match. We do end up securing a second, which does give a nice rank score boost. However, unfortunately, it does not feel as good as just winning the whole tournament. And with that, I hope I was able to share some insight into what goes through my head as I'm playing my games. The general takeaway from this is that you should always prioritize keeping yourself and your team alive and stalling the objective. Your shield bash is the strongest tool in your kit, and as long as you are alive, the enemy is under constant pressure, and they are not allowed to steal the objective. If you enjoyed this video, a like and a subscription would be greatly appreciated. I stream on Twitch pretty frequently at twitch.tv/itsvb. And until next time, see you guys then. Bye bye!